The crack of that engine can only mean one thing: it's race season. Every professional sport has a flagship competition that defines it and the athletes that take part. A series that showcases the sport in its battle-ridden glory for all the world to see. A competition that challenges opponents, pushing them to the very limits of their abilities. When it comes to enduro, that competition is now here. It's called the World Enduro Super Series, and it's an absolute beast. Thousands of riders race over a 5-month period, battling each other in 7 countries. Pros and amateurs who excel in hard enduro, classic enduro, beach racing, and cross-country will fight it out for the most prestigious title on 2 wheels: Ultimate Enduro Champion. This is the World Enduro Super Series. We've landed on the shores of Portugal in the seaside city of Porto. This is the perfect place to watch the next evolution of enduro. A city rich in history and a modern enduro-loving mecca. Excitement has been mounting for months in anticipation of round 1 of West here at Extreme XL Lagares. Lagares is a 3-day event. Riders power over obstacles in an evening ENDUROCROSS on day 1. They battle through the narrow city streets of Porto in the day 2 prologue. Then storm slippery riverbeds, roll over boulders, and power up steep slopes in a 5-hour-long hard enduro on the final day. It's an action-packed pro lineup, including Johnny Walker, legend Graham Jarvis, Billy Bolt, Manuel Lettenbichler, and 2017 Lagares winner Wade Young. Who will have what it takes to ride away with the title?
Extreme Lagares!
As the sun sets on Lagares, rain and high winds move in, turning an already chewed-up track into a slippery mess. The times are set from the earlier qualifying rounds. Now let's jump right into the super final.
We're lined up for the final for the last 10 guys, and whoever wins takes home the cash and bragging rights.
Yeah, a little bit of money involved in like a lot of them are here fresh off the Super Enduro season, so it should be good.
When we rode it this morning, it was super dry and like perfect conditions, and it's obviously rained the last few hours, and it's so slick, so it's just trying to carry speed and no mistakes really.
As tensions mount, the top 10 riders from the qualifying heats move to the starting line. Right out of the gate, factory KTM rider Johnny Walker steals the whole shot and immediately goes to battle with Husqvarna's Colton Haker. A minute in and Walker is leading the pack with Haker and Billy Bolt not far behind. Cody Webb rides hard but slips on a log and loses his chance for a place on the podium. Then Haker stumbles and Bolt makes his move into second. Back to the front where Johnny Walker loses it on the logs, allowing Bolt to make his move into first. Now let's take a look at some epic moments from earlier heats that got us to this point. The ENDUROCROSS has 5 qualifying heats, 8 heats in total. The first round times from the 5 qualifiers plus times from the day 2 prologue determine the starting positions in the day 3 final event. As the qualifying heats kicked off, the rain-slick track caused a traffic jam and some big crashes. 20 seconds in, motocross champion Nathan Watson took his bike for a swim and suffered an ankle injury. Gas rider Lars Enokel had a major wipeout, but luckily walked away unscathed. An upset Tadej Blazusiak was disqualified for going off track, which drops him to the bottom of the starting order on day 3's main event. But the heats also delivered nail-biting finishes, like when Manuel Lettenbichler literally flew past Graham Jarvis for the 3rd heat win. In round 1 of the semifinals, it's Johnny Walker who came out on top ahead of Lettenbichler and South African Blake Goodside. In round 2, it was 3-time Super Enduro World Champion Colton Haker leading early, taking the win over Billy Bolt and Cody Webb. Back to the final, Billy Bolt leads the pack with Johnny Walker in second, Haker in third, and the battle is heating up. Walker uses his years of experience, seizes a moment, and cuts Billy off, pushing him out to retake first, but Bolt won't let up. In the final lap, Haker is grinding it out for second, but gets stuck in the mud. Flying from behind, Manuel Lettenbichler makes his move to catch up with the leaders. In the last lap, Walker falls on the rocks, allowing Bolt and Letty to take full advantage, moving into first and second. After 6 minutes plus 2 laps, it's Billy Bolt crossing the finish line first. Johnny Walker in second, and Manuel Lettenbichler in third.
Tough race, you know, me, Johnny and Colton battling pretty much the whole way, but it's so slippy, you can't push as hard as you want in like any place. So happy to take the win, good start. Hopefully we can keep it up here.
After the first night of racing, qualifying times are set. Day 2 takes us to Porto for the prologue. But first, let's take a break from the race action to learn more about the World Enduro Super Series and Extreme XL Lagares.
We're here outside Porto in Lagares, Portugal. We're here to race XL Lagares. It's the first round of the new West Series, and it's as extreme as it's going to be.
Where is this, the World Enduro Super Series?
A series that brings together all the aspects of enduro, all the different disciplines, and merges it into one championship.
There's 7 races in the series.
We're going to have Hard Enduro, Classic Enduro, beach racing, some cross-country racing.
The point of this series is just to get the best off-road rider in the world.
You can't be a superstar at one thing, you have to kind of be able to do everything, so it's definitely got to be a challenge for everybody.
We've got 1,000 points for the win, 850 for second, and then we've got points all the way down to 250.
I definitely want to make the most of the points on offer at the races that suit my style of riding.
You've got to just keep trying with whatever position you're in, and then points are going to add up at the end.
It's the first year, it's a new championship, it's going to be an unbelievable feeling.
Whoever is crowned champion of the year definitely deserved it, because it's going to be tough. Consistency will be key.
Enduro really deserves this championship, and yeah, here we are. World Enduro Super Series 2018, and it's going to be a fun year.
There's going to be lots of ups and downs with the different races, but right now we're here in Portugal, and I'm just focused on this one race.
Portugal's an awesome country, and the riding here is real good.
So there's 3 days racing. We've got the ENDUROCROSS day 1, prologue day 2, and then the main race on day 3.
The second day, we have a race in the city.
It's insane to me that this really nice city even allows us dirt bikers to wreak havoc on the streets, so I think that's really cool.
You're literally racing past houses, and there's like people in doorways hanging out, and it's pretty crazy, you know? It's a unique feeling that you're not going to get anywhere else in the world.
The main race on Sunday is hell. It's 5 hours of hell.
You know, I've looked at the track and it's really, really tough. It's really chucking me in the deep end.
Got just extremely nasty, slippery rivers everywhere.
This year is a 2-lap race. I think about 2 hours, 2.5 hours per lap.
We're going to start every 15 seconds, deciding on your qualification.
It's going to be a long day of struggling for sure.
The best way to win this, I think, is just, you know, have a steady race with no mistakes.
Obviously, you don't crash, go fast, get to the finish.
It's going to be the guy that has the perfect race and is willing to suffer.
The sun comes out, and so do the fans for day 2 of Extreme XL Lagares in historical downtown Porto. The locals love it, and people come from far and wide to party in the streets at the prologue.
Yeah, we're here at the day 2 prologue, which is through the city. It's really cool to ride through the town here because it's something that we never get to do. And like to ride up the stairs and that, it's something that we can't train, but you know, like it's super cool to do past all the houses and everything and all the fans, so yeah.
Well, it's just more a bit of fun and show the crowd what we're all about and, you know, promoting the sport. But, you know, it counts towards the start position as well, so, you know, we've got to try a little bit. Yeah, so we've got a hot lap and then one race, 10 riders, the top 10, see who's the best.
The prologue kicks off with competitors leaving the starting line one at a time in 30-second intervals. Times here plus times from day one count towards starting positions on the final race day. Amateurs take part in their own class of competition, a nice appetizer before the main course. Next up, it's the pros, 40 riders looking for the fastest time. Day one ENDUROCROSS winner Billy Bolt is the first to launch into the prologue. He and 2017 Lagares champ Wade Young make great time. And fresh-faced German rider Kevin Gallas shows he's got something to prove. But it's Johnny Walker who walks away with the best time trial. Pressure mounts in Portugal as the 10 qualified riders take to the starting line for the prologue final. It's chaos from the start. As Tadej Blazusiak goes down, Johnny Walker and Billy Bolt break through the madness. Walker wins the head-to-head and leads the field over the first obstacles. As Paul Torres shoots past Wade Young, he goes down. And takes down Mario Roman with him. At the front, Bolt pushes to catch up with Walker, followed by Kevin Gallas in third, Wade Young in fourth, and the rest of the pack. As Walker continues to lead, Bolt doesn't give up the battle for first. Overtaking is critical before hitting the narrow city side streets. Bolt trails closely behind Walker as they climb the stairs, but gets caught up, giving Johnny a chance to widen the gap. Wade Young has trouble following Kevin Gallas around the same turn. Fans with a need for speed are loving the race as Johnny Walker continues to dominate in the home stretch. Walker takes the prologue title. Billy Bolt finishes strong in second.
Billy was all over me, and I could feel him like pressuring me, so I just tried to make no mistakes like I did yesterday, and managed to take the win.
Pretty good start, and then battled with Johnny for all of it really. I knew sort of when we got into the streets and up the stairs, it's going to be almost impossible to overtake. So I sat behind and made sure we come home safely in second. It's such a crazy place to be racing in. Like so many people watching. Just I don't know what they must be thinking, seeing like 10 motorbikes go flying past, but it's a sick place.
Rounding out the podium, it's Kevin Gallas taking third. After 2 days, the starting order for the Extreme XL Lagares main race is set. Wes is a one-of-a-kind enduro series. Let's check in with the pros and hobby riders to learn more about what makes it so unique.
Yeah, the cool thing about the West Championship is like anybody can race. You know, you've got hobby riders, you've got pros, and you know we're all on the same track racing. So yeah, that's the unique thing about the sport.
One of the reasons that I'm doing this race is the bragging rights that I can have. As I said, I raced against Jarvis and all the other guys.
It's good to, chat with the hobby riders, just here for fun, race against the pros, the big entries.
I think it's one of the reasons why the sport is so popular and it's going so fast. The fact that any guy can just pick up a bike and join in the same race as us pro guys, I think it's pretty special.
You get to walk the track with them, and you kind of get to know like Paul Bolt and Billy Bolt, Johnny Walker. I mean, we had a team manager looking around the van yesterday, so it's pretty cool.
The hobby riders, they're the heart of the sport. It's awesome just like to see all the craziness and weird bikes, people doing burnouts everywhere, and part of the adventure and taking it all in is just not only the race, but watching everyone having a great time and a blast. I already know I'm not gonna win every race. No one's gonna win every race. If someone does, then I owe you $100. I'll bet you on it right now.
I'd like to think I'm the best off-road rider in the world, but you know, there's so many other guys that are going to be dead fast, so we'll see how it goes.
To me, finishing it's a win, and my level is the minimum one. I will try to survive and to go to work on Monday.
A new day dawns in Portugal at the third and final Extreme XL Lagares competition. This is a 39-kilometer, 5-hour-long race against the clock where the fastest rider takes the title.
Yeah, so we're here, race day, XL Lagares, first round of the World Enduro Super Series. A bit nervous. If I wasn't nervous, I shouldn't be here, so it's just getting your body ready to, do what we're doing. So the hills don't look so big here, but trust me, there's a lot of surprises in there.
So I go first, then Cody's after me. It's kind of an advantage going first, it's dry. I'm going to be dragging the water onto the rocks.
So we're starting third today behind Johnny and Cody. First plan is just to try and catch up to those guys. It's a 2-lap race, so I think the first lap's going to be pretty tight, a lot of it together, and then the second lap's going to be where people really start to put the hammer down. So hopefully we're still in a good position up there at the front at the end of the first lap to be able to push to the finish and hopefully come home at the front.
Electricity is in the air at the starting gate. The countdown is on. The first to charge off the starting line is KTM's Johnny Walker. Following in 15-second intervals are Cody Webb and Billy Bolt. The crowd goes wild as the athletes fly over the river jump. The first marker riders reach is a rocky and slippery waterfall. The cheering crowd motivates amateurs to attempt a truly tricky section with less than stellar results. But the big names make it look easy. Johnny, still in first place for the pros, powers up effortlessly. Cody Webb and Billy Bolt are hot on his heels. Further down the course, Webb gets stuck. And Bolt is able to maneuver into second position. Now joining the hunting party is South African rider Wade Young. Young throws the hammer down. Webb feels the pressure and lets him pass. And it doesn't get any better for Webb. Further on, he runs into trouble on the rocks and goes down, allowing Manny Lettenbichler to overtake him, and Webb slips into fifth. Young continues his assault, catching up with Billy Bolt. It's a battle, but the 2017 Lagares champ is able to power around the less experienced Bolt and move into second. After an hour and 48 minutes, Johnny Walker is first to arrive at the service area to refuel. As Wade Young approaches, Johnny wraps it up for lap 2. Billy Bolt arrives third. It's a frantic refueling as Young and Bolt are in the fight for second position. Young leaves first, holding his narrow lead over Bolt. Meanwhile, Young Sherco teammate Mario Roman doesn't even make it to the service area. He loses a screw on his chain gate and has to bow out. The highs, lows, and intensity of this sport aren't for the faint of heart. Now let's get to know some of the guys that ride. The scope of the West is massive. With new riders and disciplines, there's more focus on teamwork than ever before.
No, it's cool having the team because, you've got me and, say, Taddy, who are going to Le Trèfle, who've never done Le Trèfle or the knockout beach race, whereas you've got, Garcia and Nathan, they've done them races, so they know what they're going to be like. They can help us, and obviously, the Hard Enduro races, we can help them.
Yeah, it's good to have some teammates. We're sharing information about the bike and the track and stuff, and it just makes, life good fun as well when you're hanging about the paddock.
The teams include Factory KTM, Sherco, Husqvarna, Beta, and Gas, amongst others. There's also an array of privateers and amateurs.
Just helps so much having the infrastructure and all the support around you more than anything. You know, you're doing what's needs to be done, but you know, having a good time and enjoying what we're doing.
There's so many good riders. There's honestly, I think, 6 or 7 guys that could possibly win on their best days.
Come race day, we'll definitely be fighting for ourselves, but until then, having the team aspect of it makes it really helpful.
Back to the action, heading into the second lap, and Johnny Walker is still leading on a course well-worn from lap 1 and littered with back markers. Billy Bolt has made his way into second. Sherco team rider Wade Young is pushing hard in third, and Manuel Lettenbichler has gone from a 7th place start to 4th, making up significant time. But the most impressive performance of the day so far belongs to Tadej Blazusiak. Tadej started the race in 43rd position, right at the back of the pack. Now it looks as though the Polish nightmare is channeling all of his frustrations into the main race, overtaking nearly 40 riders in the process and gunning for the fastest time of the day. Up at the front, the competition is getting fierce. Riding is difficult as the pros roll into Boulder Dash, navigating through a pack of lapped hobby riders and amateurs. Walker gets a bump from Bolt, and the battle for first is on. Wade Young is holding on to 3rd position, followed closely by Lettenbichler. That is until Young drowns his bike. It's looking dire for Team Sherco. They might not get any points in this race at all. This leaves it wide open for Lettenbichler to move into 3rd position in the final stretch. Heading into checkpoint 20, and Johnny Walker is barely holding on to his lead, with Bolt riding close behind. Who will cross the finish line first? Come on! At the finish line, fans are eagerly awaiting their heroes. Billy Bolt arrives first to the finish. He attempts the climb out of the trench but fails. As precious seconds eat away from his overall time, Walker arrives. Just as Johnny closes in, Bolt overcomes the obstacle, and Walker throws his bike over the finish line for second. The crowd loves the big finish as Billy Bolt takes his first ever Hard Enduro title.
Yeah, over the moon to get my first real outdoor win. First round of the Wes, get off to a good start. It's, you know, the 2 extreme races to start the championship, so it's important for us extreme guys to make the most of them and take as many points as possible. It's just sinking in, but I'm so happy to finally get a win in the main race.
I rode a good first lap, and then second lap was going good, and then as soon as I got into the lappers, I was the first rider catching them, but I just struggled so much with them. I guess that's why he made so much time on me, but he rode solid, you know, you can't take anything away from him, and yeah, I'm super happy with second.
And crossing the finish line third is Manuel Lettenbichler.
I'm pretty happy, like third. What an amazing feeling. First podium with all the guys, and it's a good start into the West Series.
And it's veteran rider Tadej Blazusiak with an unbelievable performance, riding his way from the back of the pack into 4th.
I'm a racer, and my job is to go and race. I gave it everything today, you know, and I'm really happy with the points. Now I'm thinking about Erzberg, and well, first thing I'm thinking of is bed, and then Erzberg.
After nearly 5 hours on the bike, hundreds of pros, hobby riders, and amateurs can proudly say they competed in one of the hardest of the Hard Enduro courses. In the end, it's 3 pros standing atop the podium. Here are the top 10 pro riders from the Extreme XL Lagares. It's an action-packed first round of West. Here are the overall rankings. 250 riders will receive points in each round of the series, and those will count towards their overall West standing at the end, where one rider will be crowned the ultimate Enduro champion. Be sure to join us next time for round 2 of the World Enduro Super Series. We'll take you to the famous Erzberg Rodeo Red Bull Hare Scramble in Austria, where 1,500 riders rampage up a mine known as the Iron Giant, looking to make another giant leap towards the title of Ultimate Enduro Champion. Until then, I'm Troy Mannering signing off, saying thanks a lot for joining us, and keep the rubber side down. The crack of that engine can only mean one thing: it's race season. Every professional sport has a flagship competition that defines it and the athletes that take part. A series that showcases the sport in its battle-ridden glory for all the world to see. A competition that challenges